Hey everybody. So in the previous chapter we learned about web scraping. We learned about the basics of web scraping. We looked at a web page and we used beautiful soup to parse through its contents and display that in our program. So in this particular chapter, what we're going to do is we're going to go through the same particular web page that we have in little more detail, and we would use the power of our Python programming to specifically pull out data or loop through data, and you would really start appreciating the value of using the programming language that you have in your hand to start scraping through data. Because up until now what you had seen was something which was pretty simple and you could have done it manually, but as you get into the depths of programming, as you start looping through articles and you start creating for loops and while loops, you start really gleaning out the power of the program. All right, so what did we do in the last one was we imported the BS4 library, and then we module, and from there we downloaded beautiful soup library as BS, and we opened an index file using the with open command, and we created an object called x, and then we used the beautiful BS alias which was created earlier to scrape through that or parse through that using HTML file library which is called HTML file lib. So you have the contents below. Now what I'm going to do is let's say I want to just print out simple stuff out of it. So what I've done is print.soup. So now I want to probably pull out only the title. I don't want any other data. So if I want to do that, then I can simply run that and I'll simply get the title. Let me remove this so that it's clear. So I just get the title. Now I don't want to see that tag and all of that stuff. Then I can simply say I only want to see the text here, and you would see that the title is Mysteries of Universe, and it's going to just only print that. Now I can do that with several other things. I can start printing let's say the h2 tag there. Now what I want you to appreciate is that when you start scraping website, you need to understand how would the website look behind the scenes. So what you see here in this particular slide is not really how the website really sort of gets presented. Every website which is created in a language called HTML, and that language gets rendered by a web engine. So if you're using Chrome, then Chrome uses a web engine. So Chrome uses V8 engine, if I'm right, which is the latest engine, and you can check that out. So likewise, Mozilla Fox uses their engine, and Internet Explorer, which is a Microsoft product, uses their engine, and Safari, which is a Apple product, uses their engine. So of course I personally prefer Google Chrome, and it is one of the most famous browser engines available. But what really happens in the background is what you see here. What you see here is in terms of how a website is actually created. What's the programming language used here? So as you would see, there is an HTML tag which is opened here and it is closed here. So HTML is, as you all know, hypertext markup language. So it's kind of a language. So this is the language, and this is what you see is the output using Chrome. And I can use the same input in Firefox, Mozilla, and it will show me the same output, pretty much the same output. You could have few things here or there. So it is important for you to have a fair understanding of how would a website look like internally. All right. So as you can see, there is a head tag in the website, and below the head tag there is a title tag which has the Mysteries of Universe, and below the title tag in the head tag you have something called as a body tag, and the body is where the data is displayed, and the body tag contains divs within that. Now these are divs and body tags and head tags. They're all created to simply create a sort of differentiation between data, so that somebody who's trying to manipulate the data can specifically go and attack a particular tag instead of influencing everything. So this is modular programming at its sort of nascent development, if you may. But this is how it is. So if I want to manipulate something within the body tag, I can go and create a class. So this is the class which is created within the body tag under a div, and within that class of article there is an h2 tag which I have put, which is like a headline tag, and I've put in the headline here. And within the h2 tag, after the h2 tag, I've used a paragraph tag here, as you can see, where I've put my content. And if I wanted to highlight the content, I have used tags again. So strong, the word which I've used there, highlights the content here. So you can do several things within the page, but when you see it outside here, you are not going to see all of that. So when you see here the wormhole, this particular word, this is in bold, and dark matter is in bold, and this is not by accident. This is something that I've done programmatically behind the scenes. So I've gone and made dark matter strong here. Now if I remove this from here, automatically this will become in normal text. So I wanted you to sort of have a background of how a website operates before we went and started manipulating it. So what I've done in this particular website is I've created a class with article, and I've also created a class with footer, just to sort of create some sort of a differentiation. And I've created, within those classes, I've created few body tags, and each of those body tags are given a headline, and then there is a text within that. So what we will do is we will now try to pull that out. Okay, so let's try to do that programmatically in our program. So here we have soup.title. So title, we've got the title. Now let's try something within the soup and say soup.p.text. Now this p is this particular p here. So it will pull out this p and whatever is the content here. And if I had not put the text here, it would also include the tags. So I'm just showing you. It will also show the tags, but I don't want to see the tag. I just only want to see the text, so I can do this. But remember, it will pull out the first p that comes in here. So it will not pull out the second p or the third p, because I've not specified that. If I have to do that, then I have to programmatically specify which particular div I'm referring to and which particular class I'm referring to. So let's try one more thing. We can do, let's say, print dot soup dot div. So if I'm going to say div, then it is going to print out the first div, which is the article and anything associated with that particular div. And I can say perhaps text there, and I will remove this so you can see. So if you look at the div, it contains the h2, which is this wormholes, and then it talks about p. A wormhole is a theoretical passage of time space, blah blah blah. So it basically prints that out here. So you can do that as well here. Now you're starting to see how I'm manipulating the data instead of just regurgitating everything which is available in the web page. Now I can also do several other things with it, and let's just try doing that now. So first thing first, I'm going to try to get the article within the div, and I'm going to print all the articles within that. So let's just first only print one article, and from there we can then we will print all the articles. So let's create a new variable, and I'm gonna call this variable and I'm going to assign this to soup.find. Now find is a method in Python, and using that method you can attach two parameters to that method, and that method will draw out data based on the parameters you've given it. So the first parameter I'm giving it is the div parameter, which corresponds to the div class here, and I'm going to specify that I want the class, and this is not the Python class, so you have to give it an underscore. This is a class in HTML. Now Python has classes as well, so that's very different from HTML classes. So here I'm going to give it a class which is HTML class, and I'm going to call it what do you want to call it? Article. So this is the class that I'm going to call, and I will now print the article. So I get the article here. Okay. So here the same thing, but I'll show you why am I using this find method, because it will not, you can start using the same line of program to find everything under it. So we use this particular variable called article, and we use our soup object, and we use the find method from Python to glean out the first article of the web page. Now let's say I want to do something. Let's also pull out the footer. Let's say so I want to say footer, so I'm going to say find another. So this is the second div that I'm using. Again, you can have as many divs in HTML as you want, and here again I'm going to use another class, but this time the class is going to be footer, and I will print the footer. Now you can call it anything. I mean, you can call it F if you want to, or you can call it foot. I mean, this variable doesn't have to be footer. Okay, it can be anything, but you'll get. So you see that it's gone and pulled out every footer data within within the article, the first footer data within the article. Okay, so you see here, you get this footer here, and you get the article here. Now this is the first article and this is the first footer. Now let's say you want to pull out the entire data. Okay, and if you want to do that, it's very easy. What I'm going to do is, instead of assigning a variable, I'm going to create a loop here. So what can I do? So I can say for, and I can say anything here, for x in soup dot, and now I can use another method called find all, which is again a Python method, and now it's going to find every class with the article. Okay, so the same thing, class. Now you see, if I'm making a mistake, Python is prompting me and helping me out. So I'm going to say class and article, and this is useful. So for x in every for x in soup, find all the x's, find all the articles with find all the classes with article as the keyword, and print x. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove all of this stuff, because it will do this entire exercise twice. And now if I type, as you can see, it's printed the entire stuff for me one more time, and I can say x.text, and when I say x.text, it only displays the text for me. So now you would start to see how I'm manipulating the data based on my Pythonic understanding of programming, and I'm trying to play around with this program, and you might not appreciate the value of this particular exercise right now, because we are dealing with a very small web page. But let's assume that this web page was technically 100, 200, 300 pages long. Then Python would have sort of done this work for you, and you wouldn't have had to manually go through it. As I told you this in the beginning of the tutorial, that This is primarily how Google tries to find articles within large set of web pages. So this is the underlying technology. Of course, they are much more sophisticated in doing so, but this is how the underlying technology works. Okay, so we have learned, we've done a for loop here, and we have pulled out the data from there, and we can now start playing around with it. So we can say print text, or we can also say print, let's say, within the text I can say only the piece, which is the paragraphs. So I've got to take this out because otherwise it will confuse the hell out of you. So when I do this, it's going to pull out all the paragraphs within the text, not anything more and not anything less. So let me just do another one. So I say print, and this time I'm going to pull out the h2 tags everywhere. So let's just see how that performs. So it's gone and pull out the h2 tags. There are 3 h2 tags we have, which are the wormholes, the dark matter, and dark energy. So I can go and specifically tell my program what do I need, and he will or she will go and fetch that for me. And I can do all of these stuff without manually going through it. So this is primarily how the loop works in programming, and this is also useful in trying to manipulate data while you are scraping it, and you would sort of use this whenever you're scraping data. For large website it becomes really useful, if you may, and this sort of is really what I wanted to tell you. So what we'll do now is, now we've done this with internal article. What do I mean by internal article? I mean that article which has been created by you, and you are the it's sitting inside your system. Now we are going to start using web scraping in the web world, where it has to go and fetch data from a website. Now that requires downloading a couple of more libraries which will help us to do that. So the first library we'll download for that is called the requests library, and then we'll put a website. Instead of opening the file, we will use a website and open that and start manipulating data within the website. So I'll see you at the other side of the tutorial, and happy programming. Have a great day.